we're back. This is the CSS podcast. I'm your host, Dave, and the gentleman in the middle is Sam, and the gentleman on my right, your left, is Charlie. For those of you that are watching, we are live on YouTube here at Cincy Sports Scene, and those of you that are listening, we'll be dropping this episode later tonight, and you'll be able to find it on all of your podcasting platforms. So today's show is number 82 in the series. So we've been doing this for almost 2 years now, and we'll be coming up on our 2-year anniversary, and hopefully the producer will be able to put together some epic clips for us and have a good time with that. Reliving some of our hot takes and stuff. But tonight's episode is going to be all about opening day and opening day memories and how we, just reminiscing some of our favorite opening days and things like that. So it'd be kind of interesting to hear everybody's perspectives on opening day here in Cincinnati. So, but before we get going here, gentlemen, how was your week?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain.
I was on spring break, so it was great. It was great week. So can't never complain about days off. So
No, and good. It was a good time today. Kids came back after 8 days away. They were a little rowdy in the morning, but they mellowed out during the afternoon. So that was a good thing on my end here. But everyone's safe. I know those of you that in the tri-state, we had some severe weather come through a little bit earlier, but hopefully everybody is safe, and we're coming to you with our topic of the week here. We'll talk about the Bearcats. I know they lost to Indiana State last week, 85-81. What are your takes on that? And then I've got another question that I'm going to pose to you guys here in just a second about the Bearcats. So 85-81 loss to Indiana State. Expected? Not expected? What's your take?
I mean, it's NIT. It's flip of the coin. How motivates everybody to play. I did watch a lot of it. Jizzle James was motivated. I mean, he got to play almost the whole game, so he was definitely motivated. But now it all turns to the transfer portal. Who stays? Who goes? There's a couple guys that I wouldn't mind being okay disappearing. I know Victor Locken's already, I guess, said that he's either entering the transfer portal or going back to Russia. I saw both of them. I saw both of those on there, but he's okay to leave. A couple other ones we will see. But I guess the good news is no one's declared yet, and it's been open for a week and a half now, other than Victor Locken.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah, that was my question there for you, but still my
Yeah, I mean,
Crawley.
I didn't watch any of the game. Like Crawley, it's the NIT. I don't care at all. Good for Indiana State, I guess. Whatever. Probably should have been in the actual tournament, but they weren't. So, I mean, I guess takeaway kept it close with them. I guess I don't really know. I don't have any real takeaways from it. I did see that Jizzle James said that he was going to come back. He's not entering the portal or anything like that. So, I mean, it is kind of the nature of college basketball, especially when your team's at the level of UC where they're just they've got some good players, but the team themselves is just okay, where you just kind of have that feeling that 2 or 3 of your guys are going to get poached. So it's nice to see that at least one of them didn't. So.
Yeah. It's a tough place to play down at the Holman Center in Terre Haute. You got the legend Larry Bird statue out there, and
Unless Larry Bird is playing himself, I don't care that his statue is outside the building. I mean, you did have. I mean, again, I saw a lot of it. I think Larry Bird talked to the refs before the game, so I will say that's my only other comment on that. So,
you could eat at the Boston Connection down there in Terre Haute. Cream Abdul-Jabbar, right? Lit him up in the second half from 3, but it's a tough place to play, and I think Wes alluded to that a little bit, where he said, their fans were pumped up for it, and over 8,000 people there making some noise, and he said it affected them a little bit, but not like it could have if they weren't prepared for, if they didn't travel to Kansas and stuff like that in the Big 12. So, but shout out, Indiana State's playing tonight, but shout out to UC for winning 2 games in there. They could have packed it up easily and said, you know what, it's not worth it. Let's just go out and lay an egg and get out of here. But they didn't. So kudos to Wes and his coaching staff and the players for playing. So
Yeah, I mean, I think
they already know
it's.
what.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think it gives them, just the more practice time and the more playing time. They're still, a young team, not necessarily all young guys on the team, but as a team, they're young. I mean, almost everybody, most guys were new, and so even the guys that were returning were playing with a bunch of new teammates. So, I mean, I think it's just like football bowl game. I mean, I really don't care. I care more about the NIT than I do the Bahamas Bowl or any of the potato weed eater bowl, whatever those things are. Those things are absolutely ridiculous. But from a team standpoint, it's good to go to the crappy bowls because it gives them another 3 weeks of practice. So, it can't hurt the more you're playing, games with your team and developing, that kind of stuff. But it was interesting. I will say, in defense of Indiana State, their offense was so much better than UC's offense. I mean, UC's offense is still just, I feel like I was watching Bob Huggins' teams. It's still just one-on-one. We're more athletic than you. Beat you off the dribble. Take some bad 3-pointers. I mean, that's been their offense for 40 years or whatever. So, I mean, Indiana State played like Golden State offense. I mean, a real offense. Passing the ball, cutting, back doors, all that stuff. So that was more. That's just more fun to watch for me. Is that kind of offense. So.
Yep, I agree. Okay, so I think I already know Crawley's take on this one, but Sam, I'll get yours. Victor is gone, according to his post and stuff. So is that a big deal, little deal, or no deal?
Honestly, it's no deal. I mean, he wasn't playing a whole lot at the end of the season. He was, limited minutes if he even played at all. I think they were kind of preparing for life without him anyways, once Jamil and Aziz got their eligibility. He doesn't fit. He can't really play with either of those 2 guys. You can't, it's tough to have a 3 center rotation. I know Locking thinks he can space the floor a little bit, but defensively, he's not good on the perimeter. And I mean, offensively, he's, iffy, I guess. For a UC big man, I guess he's good on the perimeter, but, in the grand scheme of things, he's not anything special. And I think Wes Miller likes more of the athletic big man that Jamil and Aziz are. I think he just likes a more athletic team, which, fits the style that he wants to play. I don't necessarily agree that should be the style you want to play, especially with the way the 3-point shot works nowadays. But yeah, I'm not surprised Locken's out of here. Kind of figured he would be once his minutes started getting cut. So I don't think it's going to be too big of a loss. I really don't.
Crawley, you're no deal.
Yeah. I mean, he just didn't play much the second half of the season between being injured some and for whatever reason falling out of favor, whether it was just because of performance or whatever other reason. But they've got 2 guys coming in that have some length, some height, athletic, 6'8", 6'10" kind of guys. So I mean, they're going to be more Wes's fit Wes's style way more than Locken is, and maybe fits the Big 12 way more. So.
Yep, I think that you guys hit it right on the head there. No deal for me as well. He was John Brennan recruit, so that could play into it as well. But he stuck around this year to help out, do what he could, and for some reason, he just didn't perform in the Big 12 there, and got in Wes's doghouse apparently. So, it is what it is. So we're going to move on to the FC Cincinnati here. They went down to Charlotte and they tied Charlotte 1-1. I guess my question for you guys is this going to be the trend for FC, their offensive woes, or is it just going into Charlotte because they've had a tough time at Charlotte apparently? So, what is it? Offensive woes? Or is this what we're looking at until reinforcements come, or what?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, this is what it's going to be. I think we've mentioned it the past couple weeks that they're going to win 1-0 or draw 1-1 kind of deal. Their offense just does not have anything outside of Acosta. Bupenza scored a goal, but it was because Acosta created the assist back to him. And it came in the 93rd minute or something like that. So they created nothing the whole game. Their defense is great. Their defense is really good. Their defense is what's gonna keep them in the playoff chase. And they still might even end up winning the league, but they're just not going to be an exciting team this year unless they get somebody that can actually score goals and create their own chances in the summer transfer window, which I don't know that they'll be able to do that because I don't think they have a DP spot available. So I really don't know where anything's going to come from this year. They're going to have to hunker down like they've been doing, rely on their defense, and try and sneak a goal, in the early second half. That way they know what they need for the rest of the game. I think that's kind of their game plan moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. They're a defensive first team this year. They're just, they're going to win 1-0, 2-1 kind of games. They're not scoring 3-4 goals. Unless they're just playing the bottom of the barrel. And I don't know exactly MLS. You don't, the parity is quite a bit, there's quite a bit of parity in the MLS. They usually don't have complete bottom feeder teams that can't do anything. And who knows who they're going to get. Olivier Giroud is talking about coming to the MLS, who's a forever long-standing European French dude who's scored about 1 million goals in Europe. But as most of these guys, he'll either go to Miami, they'll figure out another way to break the salary cap again, and get him, or he'll go to New York or LA, those kind of schools. Yep. So those kind of teams. Yep. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't keep track of who they potentially could go after in the summer. But yeah, we all know they need a striker. They need a goal scorer.
And stuff?
Well, there probably is. I just don't follow MLS close enough to do that. So.
You're not getting anything out of the MLS draft anyway, so
that's true. But
that's not a real productive.
They're not.
Yeah.
ESPN's not going to have wall-to-wall coverage of free agency or anything like that.
No, they won't. You could probably find a transfer target list, like a market value type deal, but the rumor mill, the MLS rumor mill, is not renowned in any way. Honestly, I think they should kind of take the South American approach, try and poach a youngster from South America like they did with Barrial. Kind of that approach. You can get them a little bit cheaper, transfer dollar wise and salary wise than you could like an established MLS player or a guy coming back over from Europe. Guys like that, if they pan out, you can sell high, hopefully. They kind of missed out on the Vasquez and the Barrial train there, selling high. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's something they look at in the summer as a South American younger guy.
Well, they've definitely had a pipeline more to that area. They've even gotten Oriano this season, and just some other guy they just got that played with Costa like 15 years ago or something. So. They just poached him, but they got him, and I think he's going to be largely a bench player. But they seem to have some kind of somewhat of a pipeline. Brenner even three years ago, kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a much better avenue for
Uh,
sustained success than the old European guys coming over for one last paycheck for 1 or 2 years.
so New York Red Bull is up next for him. Is that a home match or is that away?
I believe it's home.
Anybody know? Okay. And preview of that. How are the Red Bulls? Are they
I'd assume they're a decent team. They always kind of are. Let me see if I can pull up the standings here. So yeah, I mean they're 3 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss. So I mean they're only 1 point off of FC Cincinnati in the table. So yeah, right now they're tied for fourth. So I mean, solid team. They look a lot like FCC. They're not great offensively. They only have a +3 goal difference, which is the same as FCC. So I mean, they're definitely not Miami. They're not scoring a bunch of goals. But yeah, I mean, I think it. I mean, we know what the recipe is going to be. FCC is going to hunker down and just try and hit one on the counterattack type of deal. Because even if you look at their possession stats, you don't really look at it and be like, yeah, they dominated this game. They're kind of unlucky to only score 1 goal. They, more often than not, they're actually kind of lucky to even score a goal. So,
well, hopefully the men in orange and blue will score 2 or 3 this weekend and take it to them, and that way they can extend their lead in the in first place. Moving on to the Bengals, couple of things of note with the Bengals. Just want to get your takes on the 2 new rules changes. The first one, the hip drop tackle. That's. I mean, we'll get into that here in a minute, but and then also the new kickoff rule. Thoughts on that, um, as far as the impact it's going to have on the game and the impact it might have on, I guess, the future of the game, and the way we're going with these rules.
Yeah, I'll start. I'm fine with the kickoff rule. It seems like the goal now is actually get more kickoffs to happen, where it was going the opposite way. Yeah, it almost seemed like they were just going to get rid of the kickoff. That's what I was figuring it was going to go down to. Just every team would take it at the 25 or something. So the fact that they're actually doing this to make more kickoffs kind of intrigued me. But so I'm fine with that one. Thumbs up. The other one I absolutely hate. Again, it's another one of these rules that is against, totally takes away from the defense in terms of them just doing normal stuff. I mean, it's going to probably, I'm sure the first time it'll happen will be against the Bengals. They'll get a 15-yard penalty against them, and then everybody will understand why it's just crap. This probably will go on the same list for me as the roughing the passer rules, which is my least favorite penalty in all of sports, not all of football, all of sports, is the roughing the passer rules. We'll see how it goes, but I have a strong feeling it's going to go right underneath that in my least favorite rules. Again, it's just not football. You're not, these guys are signing up for a dangerous sport, and they're going to have to, if I'm tackling a guy, I don't want him to drag me 5-10 more yards down the field. So I'm going to use my weight to pull him down.
Get him on the ground.
And get him on the ground. So there's going to be people complaining because they're going to be tackling, and the guys, they're going to tackle them and make them move forward 10 more yards down the field. And, but it is what it is. So I'm not in decision making, but yeah, I'm a big time thumbs down on that one.
Well, I think what's going to, and I don't know if they've outlawed this yet, but when you get a big running back coming through the hole like a Derrick Henry, and there's a safety, they're going at the knees. I mean, because they can't form tackle him, and that, or they're going to jump on his back and ride him. Like we used to do as kids. The bigger kid in the neighborhood when you're playing football, they're running at you. You're like, Olay, and jump on his back, and you wait for your buddies to come and grab one leg or the other leg, and you know. Yeah,
Which
I
that's
just
going to lead to more injuries than the hip drop tackle because you're going to have somebody holding him up, and somebody else is just going to come dive right at his knees.
Yeah, and
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about this, and they were saying that, you know, because they were like thinking, oh, we hope it doesn't come into college football, because, you know, usually what the NFL does, college will try to mimic, but you know, the NCAA did come out and say that they're not going to even look at it this year at all. They're pretty much waiting to see what the NFL does, because this is reviewable for next year. You know, they'll review it, make any changes if they need to, get rid of it. And the guys thought that what's going to happen is they're going to call a lot of it in preseason games, and then maybe the first couple of weeks, and then they're going to realize that this is, and they're probably going to send a memo out to the officials just to
until
wait a little bit.
Conference championship game, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are down 3 and get stopped on 4th down, and then here comes a marker. So I mean, you know, I'll take it in a different direction, since that's what I like to do here. I'll put my tinfoil hat on, but it's just another subjective call that you give these old guys, that if you need to make a call, here's another one that you can throw out there. And we already know a big game this season in the playoffs, Super Bowl maybe, it's going to be close. Somebody's going to be stopped on 3rd down or 4th down, and that yellow marker is going to come flying out. And we already know it's going to happen. I'm calling it right now. And it's just another way that these leagues can influence the games that they want to influence to get the result that they want to get. So, yeah, I mean, that's how I see it. I don't see it as it being any safer for the players, because, I mean, guys are going to get hurt anyways. They don't want it. Guys are going to get hurt. I mean, yeah, I think now you're going to see guys getting held up, and as they're slowly going down, there's just going to be more headshots, I think that's what's inevitably going to happen. You know, the longer guys are fighting other guys and being held up, the more time somebody has to launch themselves and just miss their target. And, you know, I don't think it's a player safety thing. You know, that's the disguise, because they can't come out and say, oh, we need the refs to be able to influence the game like we want them to. So even though we know that's why this rule is in place. So as far as the kickoffs are concerned, though, I do like it. It's going to generate more kickoff returns. You know, their cause for player safety actually makes sense here. You don't have a 50-yard head start to just go run into a collision anymore. You know, guys are 5-10 yards apart from each other. You can't move till the returner catches it. So I definitely think it'll bring the kickoff excitement back.
Yeah, I think so, except, you know, how can you do the surprise onside kick? I mean,
but you can't. Yeah, you have to declare before.
Onside kicks.
Right, you have to.
Yeah, you have to declare it before.
And it's just like, okay, you know, you come out of halftime, you're kicking off, and boom, here's a surprise onside kick, and that changes the whole momentum. Now you can't do that, and I don't know.
I mean,
that's the only thing
that was
I don't
so
like about
few and far in between. I'd rather see guys return kickoffs than that.
Yeah, but
I mean, last year there were only 2 successful onside kicks.
Now.
Like they weren't doing it anyways.
Yes, that's because, I mean, the way they changed the rule for the onside kick, you have to have equal.
Well, even the surprise onside kick,
but
they weren't doing that.
No, but now they won't be able to. So now the defense doesn't have to worry, or the receiving team doesn't have to worry about onside kicks anymore. So, you know, you always had to worry about it.
I don't know. Watching it didn't look like they were worried about it. So those guys were taking off running backwards before the kicker even kicked it. It's definitely plenty of opportunity to do it if they wanted to. So,
all right. Let's move. Well, before we move to the Reds, Crawley, you said you wanted to.
Oh, it was one was the hip drop tackle, so
okay.
I took care of that already. So, yeah, that was one.
One Bearcat thing.
Yeah, don't worry. That let's
It's done.
yeah.
Okay.
The other one's for the Reds. So
So we'll save it. And I think I know where you're going with it.
nah,
But,
I don't think you
we'll
are.
see. You don't think so? Oh,
No,
okay.
no.
All right. All right. So let's talk about the Reds. Opening day and opening weekend here. The Nationals, they took, 2 of 3 from the Nationals. It wasn't pretty, to say the least. Opening day was great. Great atmosphere, great crowd. Sean Casey, the mayor, was back in town throwing the pitch, first pitch out, and a little nervous, threw the cutter, almost got away from Suter there, but
45,000 people watching them.
yep, exactly. But he got it there from the mound. Tip your hat there. But they came out scoring. Martini, baby, shaken not stirred. Um, the guy Crawley said he should be nowhere near a lineup, an open day roster.
I agree with him.
But hey, you know, you know, um, it happens, right? Like you said earlier yesterday, Volson there, whatever his name is,
Vossler.
JV, the
Vossler, yeah,
JV,
led the Reds in home runs for like 2 weeks after he was cut.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it could happen to Nick, but hopefully not. Hopefully, Tinkerbell uses them, correctly, which, he came in, got that pinch hit double.
Pinch hit double, yeah.
Um,
I mean,
in game 2. And, he did well, but then game 2, Diaz the bullpen looked really bad. Just couldn't get out. Couldn't get out of their way. And you can question, Bell's handling of Diaz there in the 9th. If he should have been, after he loaded the bases, he should have.
yep, should have went and got him then. Yep.
Or, let him go. But whatever. So, that game should have been won. 2-run lead, your closer, all-star closer in the 9th against the Nationals. You should have done that. But the same could be said for the Nationals on that Thursday where they blew the lead, or Sunday, I guess it was Sunday, not Thursday. And they blew the lead, had a 2-run lead going into the 9th. And, Jonathan India had that great 10-pitch at bat, lined a double down the left field line. And then Will Benson crushed a 2-run homer, tied the ball game. And then second pitch CES saw, lucky 13, I guess, because he would have been 0 for 13, but 1 for 13 with that home run, game winning homer. And thoughts on opening weekend, and then we can talk a little bit about the Phillies here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought opening day went about as well as you could have had it go if you're the Reds. Montas looked like he deserved to get the opening day start. But he went 6 strong, I think. And, I mean, he was pretty efficient, too, in those 6 innings. Pagan gave up the 2 runs there, which, wasn't great. But I didn't think he pitched bad. I think he just kind of gave up 2 runs. It's not like he walked the bases loaded, hit a guy to, bring in the tying run or whatever. So, offense looked great. Like you said, Martini hit 2 homers. Game 2, I thought Diaz should have been pulled. I honestly, after the 3 batters, not even before the bases got loaded, just because it was clear he didn't have it. It was a continuation of what he showed in spring training. He can't find it right now. I can't remember who it was. One of the Reds beat guys or bloggers or whatever said his fastball is down about 1.8 miles per hour from compared to what it was last year. And he wasn't, at 98, 100 before. He was only at, about 96. So to be a closer at 94 and to be wild, that's not a recipe for success. So I don't know if he's got something going on with him or what, but that does give me a little bit of concern. I know it's still early, so maybe he can figure it out. But that's definitely cause for concern. And David Bell just not being able to manage the bullpen. Especially you can say, oh, it's only game 2. Well, they missed the playoffs by what, 1 game, 2 games last year. So games like that, I mean, it matters, and they're going to be in another dogfight this year. If they're going to be any good, it's going to be close. So I mean, you can't be just giving away games. I think you've got to go get a guy if he's not going to perform, even if he's your closer.
Yeah, it was that opening day. Reds traditionally have not been great on opening day, so it's in terms of the on the field. The before the game's always great, but on the field traditionally has been rough. Unless you have random Joe Randa sightings and that kind of thing. But yeah, they good game all around. I love the pitch efficiency of Montas. 6 innings. What did he throw?
He was under 80 pitches.
I think he was right at 80 or 82 or something. He could have gone another inning if it was later in the season or that kind of stuff for sure. And then you compare that to Hunter Green the next day, which again is the opposite of that, and that's still his problem. 100 pitches and not even 5 innings. Now the Reds defense sucked like you can't suck more but that's going to be the Reds all season. Their defense is awful,
especially until Friedel gets back.
Yeah. I mean, you have a guy playing center field who's never played center field before. He's never known as even a good outfielder, that great of an outfielder. You have one of the worst second basemen playing second base again. Ellie's still kind of figuring out what the hell's going on. So, you got an infielder playing left field. So their defense is going to be a train wreck. And so Hunter Green was definitely not helped out by that, but that's still his issue, developing the third pitch and being more pitch efficient. So Diaz, worries me. He did pitch well yesterday. I think he pitched either 1 1/3 or 1 2/3 last night against the Phillies, who's a much better lineup than the Nationals, and did really well last night. So hopefully that's a good sign. Bullpen's been okay, kind of thing. So, but I do like that they kind of continued from last year. They do fight. They don't. When they get down, they seem to have a little bit of magic still left in them with CES with the home run and the steer slam last night. So hopefully that can continue. I noticed Steer's not batting 7th anymore like he was batting opening day.
He's batting 7th tonight.
Oh, he was 2nd yesterday. There's Tinker, there's Tinkerbell. And they can't give him
left-handed pitcher. He bats 2nd. Right-handed pitcher. He bats 7th. And that's something where it's like, I don't understand that at all. I mean, he should be our 3rd hole hitter.
I mean, he really should. He should be the 3 hole.
Be the 4th, and
I mean, he's going to be he's the most consistent guy. So
right.
you just want your most consistent guy to get more at bats. It's not about that he's batting up in the lineup. It's about he gets more. I want my best guy getting more at bats. Bryce Harper, I want batting 3rd, not 7th, because I want him up to the plate as many times as possible.
Right, and if he was batting 7th last night, he wouldn't have been up in that situation. So come on, Tinker. You need to quit tinkering and get a set lineup and let's go with it. But that's what they've been preaching since last year in spring training. They're going to be flexible. They want people to be up and down the lineup, and the guys don't care as long as they're in the lineup. And that's one of the things that I don't know, being a coach and, moving players around, I think it does play on their psyche a little bit.
Maybe Steer's fine with it,
Yeah.
Maybe he's able to do it.
Right. And maybe that's the culture that David Bell has developed here in Cincinnati, that, these guys understand that, one day they may be batting 2nd, next day they may be batting 7th. It's going to be on matchups. And that's what, the Reds organization has, I guess that's what their bread and butter is right now. I guess it's we're going to play matchups, and I think our players are better than your players. So we'll see. So they got the Phillies and the Mets this week, and the NL East is horrible right now. They've only won 1 game. I think. As far as I think the Phillies won one game, and I think everybody else.
Well,
Yeah,
the
'cause they
Braves. The Braves
yeah.
have won
Oh, the
2 or
Braves.
3.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Braves beat the Phillies. So I think I saw. I think the Pirates. I mean, they're 5-0. I think they have more victories than the NL East combined.
Well, it's because they
So
played the NL East. They swept the
Yeah.
Marlins.
right. Yeah.
Swept the
They swept the
Marlins.
Marlins, and
I mean, the Marlins.
And
You talking about injuries, man? Their entire pitching staff. Like, I think literally their entire pitching staff is on the IL. Who would have been their top 5 guys, or at least 4 guys, is on the IL. So
well, and the Cubbies, same thing, right? They lost Steele there. It's a hamstring. Sonny Gray and the Cards. They're. But yeah, it's a long season, and hopefully the Pirates will become the Pirates again. I know they always start out
I
hot.
think they will. Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't they
then-
start out pretty hot last year?
yeah, they were in
did.
first probably
But
a
then,
month into the season.
right, and then Cruz broke his
That's right. Yeah, he
ankle,
did get hurt.
and then
Yeah.
they just went. So, we'll see. Hopefully they falter here soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about them until August if they're still, playing well. So
Right. So, all right. Let's see. Any updates? Is it in a rain delay?
1-1,
out there?
top of the 4th.
It's 1-1, top of the 4th, and they've got Graham Ashcraft. I mean, number 5 starter. I like that. You can talk about our pitching depth.
that's a real
It's a
solid
lot
number
better
5.
than Luke
Yeah.
Weaver and Luis Sessa.
Luis
Ben
Sessa,
Lyon
yep.
running out there.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. Our number 4, number 5 pitchers this year is Abbott and Graham Ashcraft. And last year it was Abbott and Costello. Man, it was just a joke out there.
I mean, sometimes remember we started the law firm 3 or 4 times. Remember them bullpen games that we had? And I'm like, God, terrible.
Yep.
Unlike the Miracle Weaver starts that we somehow won almost every one of them, the law firm starts did not go well.
No. And then we had to bring up the, Lyon Richardson starts, the
Connor Phillips,
Spears,
yeah,
all those guys.
Was Overton last year, or was he 2 years ago?
Overton.
That was last year. He was in
last year.
He was the 4th starter at the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
That dude will not throw another pitch in the major leagues again.
I wouldn't say
Well,
that.
I'm hoping he will for the Cubs or the Cardinals.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. We're gonna move on here. You got any you want to rant about something now?
Oh yeah. And this is going to be super unpopular, but I'm okay with that. So, in terms of this rant, so the '99 Reds were celebrated opening day. You have Casey throwing the first pitch. Pokey and Dimitri were in the parade, and which I was like 10 feet from them. That was cool. Okay, no problem with that part of it. However, I'm gonna ask a question. Is there any other major league franchise, except maybe the most awful franchises, who would celebrate a team as much as the '99 Reds who didn't even make the playoffs? We act like they were World Series winners, and they didn't even make the playoffs, and we celebrate them like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread. The Yankees wouldn't do that. The Dodgers wouldn't do that. The Cardinals wouldn't do that. I mean, the Cardinals ran their whole team out of town last year. I mean, they were ready to literally light them guys on fire. They were so pissed off at those guys. And we act like the '99 Reds is the greatest thing we've ever seen. They didn't even make the playoffs. So I'm just saying that is. I realized that last week. I'm like, I've listened to these '99 Reds for weeks now. They're not that good. They didn't make the playoffs. I don't care that they won 96 games. They did not make the playoffs. I celebrate the '90 Reds because they won the World Series. I don't need to celebrate any other teams. Okay, just that's my rant right there. So,
well, very valid points, but they were very likable and
likable. Cincinnati, likable. Ryan Friel, likable. Yeah, I don't give a crap about likable.
Well,
I don't want jerk offs. I don't want Barry Bonds on my team, but I want winning teams. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, in my lifetime, though, what other teams you have nothing to really celebrate. I
And
mean,
that's pathetic. That's
it is.
that's even makes it even
Yeah.
worse.
But
And,
I mean,
they
that's
came out of nowhere.
that's
just
why
like last
they know
year's
their
team,
market.
right? Yeah, just like last year's team. They came out of nowhere, and it was exciting. Fans came back to the stadium, and damn Al Leiter,
Yeah, I mean, as
one
as
game.
much as the Reds get
You know,
wrong in that front
Steve
office
Pears.
and that Castellini family, they know the market pretty well. They know how to play on that nostalgia and and what some of these older Cincinnati folks like to see. So I will give them credit on that.
Yep, we had a shock though opening day parade, didn't we, Crawley?
Yeah. Yeah.
shout, shout out to Dave Backer, driving in the parade with, not
Abbott and
floating,
Ashcraft.
Abbott and Ashcraft were in the car with Backer, and it's like, I think he just hopped in the car. I don't, because the Reds would have never let him anywhere near those two
He
guys.
can security check or background check, whatever. So.
Something, man. That's like, no. So, but no, it was good. It was a good time there. It was great that the Reds won opening day, and took 2-3, and hopefully we can win another series. And that's what we got to do, is just keep winning series. And you do that, you'll be battling for a playoff spot.
And I'll celebrate them if they make the playoffs.
And Crawley will celebrate them if they make the playoffs. But
and even imagine this, winning a playoff series. Oh my God! I mean, we'd have another parade just for that if they won a series. So be confetti coming from Great American Tower if they just won a series in the playoffs.
Series.
We don't need a World Series.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't done that in my lifetime, so.
They could ride that for a long time.
Yeah, we'll be talking about in 2050 if they won a series in the playoffs.
All right. We are going to move on to trivia. And if you want to play along, there's a couple of different ways. You can shoot us an email at csspodcast@yahoo.com, or DM us on Instagram or Twitter at Cincy Sports Scene. Or if you are watching live, you can always put it in the comments section on YouTube here. So last week, Sam, I think you had the trivia, and I think we answered it correctly.
Yeah, you guys
so you want to go ahead
got them all correct. It was just the 6 major college basketball conferences who has won their conference tournament the most. Let me pull it up here because you guys did get it all. For the ACC, it was Duke. Big 12 is Kansas. Big 10 was Michigan State. The Big East, it was tied between Georgetown and UConn. The Pac-10/12 was Arizona, and the SEC was Kentucky. And you guys were able to get all of those.
Pieced them together. So. All right. So I have the trivia question this week, and it's baseball related with opening day, especially opening day in Cincinnati. The last 7 opening days, the Reds have trotted out a different shortstop. How many can you name?
The last how many?
7.
So you said. So since Cozart, basically.
Since
so are you going to count
yeah.
Cozart as one, or since Cozart?
Cozart is since Cozart.
Since Cozart.
There's been 7 different starting shortstops in opening day.
7 consecutive years
different
with a new starting shortstop.
Also this year, Ellie.
Right. Yep, that's one.
Who was last? Gee, I don't even remember who was last
year. Yeah, I was thinking about left field. Who was I couldn't remember even started left field last year.
Shortstop.
Yeah. I mean,
it would have been
Kyle. What's his name? 2 years ago.
Farmer.
Kyle Farmer.
Farmer.
Yeah, that's 2 of them.
Yeah, another great. Plays hard. Cincinnati love.
Jose Iglesias.
Jose Iglesias. Yep.
Okay.
God.
That's 3.
That was a good one, Sam. I thought of that one.
Was Kevin Newman last year?
Kevin Newman was last year. Yeah, Kevin Newman.
No, he was not. Nope.
He did not start opening day.
No, he might have been your left fielder in opening day, but
I thought he was. I actually would have thought he was a shortstop last year.
He might have been the third baseman
Maybe, yeah. I mean, other than India, I don't know who started because
Or
Vada
India.
was on the IL to start the year last year.
Yeah, because Vassar was starting.
Right. Newman may
Vasa,
have
that's
played
right.
first. Oh yeah, Vossler. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Vassar
Yeah,
started
I don't.
first.
Who was the shortstop last year? Probably didn't even. Oh, was it Barrero? Did Barrero start opening day?
Yes, it was Barrero.
It's Barrero.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Yeah.
Yes.
All
So
right.
that's 4.
I'm assuming he was Ofer.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I would not have known that one.
What
Uh,
about Freddie Galvis? I know he was around.
Freddie
Did he-
Galvis is another one.
Yeah,
There you
all right.
go. That's 5.
God, Freddie Galvis has been since Zach Cozart.
He was
I
COVID
I
year,
thought
wasn't he?
I thought he was before Zach Cozart.
I think
I
he
just
was
wish that.
I think he was the COVID year starter, was he not?
No,
No, he was the year
Um,
before.
because 24. Oh no, he was the 20.
He was
2020
20.
year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I think Iglesias was 19.
Yep.
Or was Iglesias? So who was 21?
Yeah. So you're missing 21 and 17.
Well, no, Farmer would have been 21.
No,
Or Farmer was 22.
Farmer was
Farmer
22.
must have been 22.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So
De La
21.
Cruz, Barrero, Farmer, then somebody, and you got Glavis
Iglesias.
and Iglesias,
Yeah,
and then
okay.
another person.
Okay.
So you're missing 2.
21. Who would have been the shortstop?
We'll give you another minute here. And then,
Are either of those two guys still active? Do you know? Active
Uh,
big leaguers?
I think one is.
Okay.
One is not. I think I could be totally wrong.
Adam Rosales.
No.
Rosales. Sprinting around the bases.
He's another Reds fan. Love.
Yeah, he ran fast on his walks.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Terrible ball player, but he ran fast on his walk. So,
They brought back memories of Petey.
except he had about 4,100 less hits.
Yeah.
So, Travis Janikowski. He's still.
He's an
No.
outfielder. Jankowski. He's the leadoff hitter for
He
the
plays
Rangers.
for the Rangers. I
Yeah,
know.
he's-
Yeah.
He won a World Series ring last
Yeah.
year.
Yep.
Reds just misused him.
Yep.
Yeah.
They did.
Um,
All right. I'll give you.
Yeah, I mean,
each
I-
one,
I can't think
one
of-
more guess.
I-
One more guess, and then we'll move on.
is 21 the Yasiel Puig year?
Oh, Suarez. Eugenio Suarez.
Suarez.
Yeah, that's
he
right.
was, right.
That's right. Yeah, that
The
experiment.
train wreck at shortstop. Yes.
Goodness.
Yes. Yes. And then you got one
So
more.
Just the one from what, 2017? Is that what that have been?
17.
17?
Yes. Yep.
Oh man, yeah, I don't know. Jerry
Scooter
Harrison
Jeanette.
Jr.
No, Jeanette.
Not Jeanette.
And who'd you
But
say,
it
Sam?
would have been. I said Jerry Harrison Jr., but I think that was
No.
before Cozart. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
17.
All right. So those of you out there listening, if you know the last person without looking it up, go ahead and play along and see if you can get the last one in 2017. Who was the starting shortstop for the Reds? But until then, we'll be back next week with the answer. All right. Moving on to our topic of the week, and our topic of the week is going to be all about opening day and our memories from when we were little till now. Just some of our childhood memories of opening day and what it meant to us growing up, and some things. So, who wants to start? Crickets.
Yeah, I mean,
Or they're all frozen. One of the two. I don't know.
I've never been to an opening day. I was in an opening day parade when I was younger.
you were.
Gold Star Chili Float. So cousin won a raffle and he took me with him. But other than that, I've never even been to an opening day parade or down there. Opening days are always great just because, just because, start of the baseball season, but the Reds haven't had great success on opening day either. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
was
mean,
my first opening
oh,
day.
well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what are you guys doing? We're talking about opening day here, and never been to opening days. So, so
Never. Till this year.
um, yeah, this is probably in terms of actually going to the game, probably my fifth time. Parade I've been to more. We would just sometimes go down with the boys when they were younger and just go down to see the parade, taking the action and stuff from there. I do. I actually when I was in fifth grade, I moved out to Ross, which is where I ended up graduating from, and I moved in April, and I believe my first. It may not have been my first day at the new school, but it was the first week for sure. It was opening day, and I remember the teacher turned on the TV for us to watch, put the game on or whatever. So I always remember that. That one stands out to me. I remember watching it, or I guess it wasn't on yet. I just remember the umpire that died at Reds
Sherry.
opening day, and was that late '80s or early '90s? Yeah, he was
It was the early 90s.
early '90s. I mean, Marge was still the owner when it happened.
Yeah.
So I do remember that. Yeah, I mean, then you just remember those random, like the Joe Randa and the, home runs. I know Dunn hit a couple home runs on opening day. So till like, I think one of them was a walk off kind of game, and so that's the other thing is, I sometimes remember, Vossler will stand out to me probably forever. Martini now may go on that list. Just kind of these random guys that I mean, Dunn wasn't random, but I know he did have some opening day success. So, but yeah, my personal experience has been more recent in terms of actually going to the game. But they do it right. I mean, all the players that have played other places, that's who I rely on in terms of speaking about comparing opening days to here versus other places. And other places is just another. I mean, it's a game. They celebrate it during the game and at the stadium and everything, but they don't have all the hoopla, beforehand, like we do here with parades and band. All these schools taking off, or at least their marching bands going down and all that type of thing. So that's really cool. And the Reds still get to be at home at least on opening day. They don't get to be the first game anymore, but they at least get to be the home team. So
Yeah. That's that was the thing about opening day when I was a lot younger. Um, you know, at the school, my grade school. Shout out to St. Louis School in Batesville. There, you know, we didn't have. I mean, our seventh grade teacher brought out the TV to watch, but the principals would always crank on the radio, and we had the old time speaker, like a box wooden speaker in the classroom, and it, and you couldn't really make out, Marty and Joe that much, but you got to listen to opening day. And then as I got older, didn't really get to, witness a whole lot of opening days because I was playing baseball myself, and during the high school, we always we always were playing on opening day, so we would listen to it on the bus ride home or something like that. And I just remember the one day, it was my freshman year in high school. We traveled to rival East Central to play, and it was just snowing to beat the band by about the second and third inning. And I think it was April 4th or 5th during that time, and I remember getting on the bus after the fourth inning because they called it because you couldn't see, and they were saying it's snowing here in Cincinnati, and it's a whiteout, and so to play in that, and the Reds were playing in that, it was kind of cool. But yeah, as I got older and with the kids, I mean, I was working because we had different spring breaks than um, opening day. So you never got an opportunity to come in from Indiana as much as we wanted to. But this year's opening day parade was great, and got to see it. It was long, maybe a little too long
it is
for my
long.
liking, but
Oh, it's
but
long.
it was all right. The early part of the parade is good. just like any parade, right? And you feel bad for the people at the very end because you look around and
People are
there's
tired by
nobody.
that point. Yeah.
People are tired. They're
Isn't
gone.
this
They don't
over
care.
yet?
Yeah. There was a gap. I mean,
There was a lot of
we were
marching bands at the end. I didn't see that was when we
Yes,
stopped
yeah.
watching. Was on the marching band started coming through.
We were
Sorry
packing up
to Delaney
leaving.
and Frank out there. So
Yeah. We were packing up leaving, and there was a gap, probably about and all the time, and we're like, going, is that still the parade, or is that just people walking in the street? We're like, and no, it was like these little kids on cycles and stuff like that. They were riding,
yeah,
and then there
I
was
remember them. They were
somebody
cool.
behind them, and then I'm like, my gosh, it's going some 15. We got to get to the stadium. um, but yeah, festivities. Um, yeah, it was, Cincinnati does that thing that they do right is opening day. Listening to Casey on his podcast, the mayor's office, him and Chintz talking about him pitching, going out the first pitch, and how nervous he was. And this is a big league ball player who's of on the biggest stage, to Cincinnati, and toe the rubber and backing and in front of 1,000 of your closest friends. Be I think he was saying Mark Mallory, bouncing it up there. Something like that. So yeah.
Can't be that.
Yeah, it'd
No,
take a lot to
can't
beat
be.
that one. That's
That's probably the worst opening day first pitch. There's been a couple bad ones. We'll have to video clips and show them.
I mean, that's one of the worst first pitches. I mean,
Yes.
let alone opening.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, one thing for the Reds. I mean, you guys mentioned it. Right. I mean, when I was living in, you didn't even know that it was Rockies opening first. Kind of mention of it on, the radio stations. Maybe the sports talk stations would talk about it, but I mean, here you listen to any one of the radio stations, stations or whatever, and they're talking about it, or shoot, they might even be down at the stadium doing their show from the stadium or whatever. But Denver did not do that. They don't care about the Rockies out there. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I don't think the Rockies care about the Rockies. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, that goes back to our topic way back when we were debating if Cincinnati was a football town or a baseball town, and I think it's a baseball town. I really do, and just because of opening day, and like you said, Sam, I mean, every radio station, news station was down there.
Yeah,
covering
everybody's down there. I mean,
everybody's down there, and
Yeah.
everybody's not down there for the Bengals opening game.
No.
I mean, they're not broadcasting. I mean, Mo Egger, all those guys were in different bars broadcasting from, at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And football is just a different beast. But I think opening day in Cincinnati is, it is a holiday, and it should be a holiday, in Cincinnati, where if kids were in school, most of them were on spring break, they should get a day off. Teachers should get a day off. Workers should get a day off. Everybody should, celebrate the Reds and the coming of spring, coming of baseball, and the hope that it brings. And that's the I guess that's the joy of opening day is everybody's 0-0 and there's hope still, until 9 innings later, and then some team wins and some team loses, and you're like, crap, here we go again. So, but hopefully for the Reds, things are moving in the right direction, and they can continue, the streak, and have a successful month because they need to get off to a very good start because May is brutal. For
Well,
them.
just
So
they
hopefully-
never get off to a good start. They're, I mean, they're 3-22 or whatever, So
7 and whatever they were last year. 7
yeah,
and
7-15 or
15.
something. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and then
they've got to be over
Alabama.
500 just to have some
Yeah.
positive momentum. That's
Yeah, they can't be too far. I mean, if the Pirates are in first place after April, it's no big deal. But because the season can't be won in April, right? But it can be
Yeah.
lost in April.
Yeah,
as-
exactly.
as
Larkin said
shown.
that on the broadcast the other
Yep.
day. You can't win. You're not going to win the season in April, but you can definitely lose it.
Right. So.
And you can definitely
so
can
here's-
lose the fan base too. So
Right. Exactly. Which, it's nice to go down to a packed stadium, but at times it's also nice to go and where there's not a whole lot of people around and
yeah,
you can zip in, zip out. You don't have to wait for 30,000 people to exit the stadium, and when you're trying to turn and you can't get out.
has its perks. That's for sure.
Yep, it does.
You're not going to see the Reds win if you go to if you go down there that time. But
But hey, you can get great seats and walk on down.
yep.
All right. Any other memories? Anything for the good of the order here before we sign off?
Reds it's 2-1 Phillies right now. Bryce Harper has 2 home runs.
Got pissed off from striking out
Yep.
last night, Antone. Way to go. All right, that's the update. So hopefully we can have some miracles again.
Still can't think of that shortstop. I've been trying to rack my brain. I can't.
I'll tell you once we get off the air here, so that
I
doesn't
just can't.
spoil it for the fans. That are
I do have a
listening to us.
couple if we're done with the Red stuff or whatever. I do have a couple
Yep. We're
couple
gonna finish with the
questions
Red
for you
stuff.
guys to think about
Okay.
and answer. These are basketball tournament related.
Basketball tournament related.
Yeah. So
Okay,
we're in
you
the.
just froze on me.
Oh,
There-
can you hear
there we
me?
go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're back. You're back.
Okay. I mean, we do have a Final Four coming up. I mean, so both
Spoiler
men's
up,
and
hammer
women's.
down, baby.
That's right. Yeah, they're favored. I think given 9 points or something to
NC State.
NC State.
NC State. Actually, it might be. No, it was like 9. I think Connecticut's given 12 or something to.
Yeah, Connecticut. Ooh,
I think he's rolling
they're
right
good.
now.
They're
Yeah.
good. 30-01.
So- So just a couple basketball questions. Well, one's basketball. So who has been? And I know we know who. Dave, your answer is going to be on this, but who's been your top? Who's your top 3 players in the tournament so far?
So far, oh man. I mean, Edie, just
Edey,
number wise, he's
right.
Shocking.
And
Yeah.
the Tennessee kid too, Dalton Connect. I think he's
Connect.
he. I
He
mean,
was
he
pretty
that
good,
dude
yeah.
can score. He
Yeah.
doesn't do
You know, he
anything
was out
else,
at-
but he can score.
Out with. He was
Yeah,
out
no,
with
he
his
was at
sister out
UNC.
there,
Yep, Northern
UNC,
Colorado. Yeah, he doesn't pass. He doesn't play a lick of defense, but he can score.
He can score. See, I don't know anybody on Connecticut, but one of their guys has to be. I mean, I
They just have a lot of good guys.
Yeah, I think
Like
they're
playing
just
really well.
balanced. I mean, you could
Yeah,
probably
they got
say
that one
Klingon just
center.
because of his defense. Yeah.
But
the
they have a
reputation,
transfer
but-
too. Who's the shooter for them? God, I can't. I thought of his name earlier. Cam Spencer.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
another transfer that's done a lot for them. And they they got a team that's got they have a top 5 or 10 freshmen on the team. They recruit, and then they got these transfers too. So they're kind of they're building the team the way you have to build a team now. A mix of some transfers that are kind of under the radar, and then some guys that they recruit as freshmen, but and then a top, I think his name's Castle, the guy that's the top 5 or 10 freshmen that probably, this might be his only year. So
yeah, from Connecticut, I think he was.
Isn't it Sam Cassell's kid? Isn't that who it is?
Nah, his name's Castle.
No, it's Castle.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
I
it's
thought it
spelled
was-
like the
Oh, like
building.
a castle.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
go with Will Middlebrooks, right? Danny Cannell's nephew.
Will
But,
Middlebrooks is
who's
a
the-
baseball player, I think. He used to play for the Red Sox.
Yeah,
no,
that
he
is.
plays,
There is a Middlebrooks.
Yeah.
He's for
Yeah,
NC
no.
State, isn't he?
Yeah, for
Middlebrook?
NC State.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for NC
State.
I don't know if
Yeah.
it's Will though.
Danny Cannell.
NC
I thought it was
State.
Will.
Is it
NC
Will?
State's
Yeah.
guy is DJ Burns, man. That guy's
Burns,
awesome.
Yeah, DJ Burns. Yeah, but he'll be.
He plays basketball against 1985.
Yeah.
Big old body in there, passing, all that fun stuff. So
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I haven't really. I would say Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
probably, well, yeah,
Paige Beckers.
yeah. That should be a match. That's the next matchup.
Yep, that is. That'd be great. That's must-watch TV too.
Oh.
Who
Okay,
do
then
you
you're all those guys. Yeah,
have?
you
Oh,
name
those
it.
guys.
Sears from
Even Edie?
Alabama too.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Sears from Alabama.
Yeah, I
was-
forgot Alabama
has
was
been-
in there. Wow. Yeah.
he's
Well, they
been
got
really
that
good.
transferred, like that 6'10"
Yeah, from North Dakota or whatever.
North Dakota
Yeah.
State or North Dakota. Yeah, that
Yeah.
dude. I mean, he had a great game against North Carolina.
Yeah.
So then your other question is rank or decide who's the best college combined football basketball team. How would you rank those?
Right now
You know
it's
what I'm saying?
Alabama.
Like, yeah, Bama
Yeah,
has
right
to
now
be.
it's Alabama.
Yeah.
You got both Final Four teams. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else even comes close. Michigan sucks, basketball wise. I mean,
Ohio
Georgia.
State,
I don't even know if Georgia has a
and
basketball
Georgia
team.
didn't even.
So
yeah.
And they made the NIT. They might actually still be in it.
Oh well, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, does Georgia? Do their students know that? I don't know.
Probably
Does
not.
anybody in the state of Georgia know that? I don't know. I mean, Clemson. I mean, their basketball team just made the Elite Eight.
Clemson's-
You know, I mean, that's
NC
it's pretty
State,
solid.
I mean, they had
Yeah, their football
the
team's
football
all right.
team was
Yeah.
decent. What
About
about
West
I mean,
Coast?
Tennessee was okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, their football team's solid.
Um,
I think the answer though is Alabama. I really do.
Alabama. I mean, North
yeah.
Carolina. Yeah, but I think Bama.
Football team's okay,
Bama's
but I
football
mean,
is better than anybody's we named pretty much.
yeah.
Besides Georgia's, but they were better this year. And then the other basketball team. I mean, Final Four bound.
I mean, because you know the other Final Four teams, NC State's football team is just, they're there. UConn sucks. And Purdue doesn't. I mean, they're
Yeah, I mean they're
not
one of the worst
anything,
teams.
So, yeah.
So
I mean, I was thinking like I don't know, maybe Notre Dame, but I don't think their basketball teams
they didn't even make
really
it.
been
in
all
the
that.
tournament.
Yeah, they
so-
weren't very good this year.
Nope.
I mean, Ohio State's basketball team won great. NIT, you know.
Illinois
I mean,
football team.
Texas.
Auburn,
How about Texas?
Texas,
Yeah.
yeah, you could say Texas.
Auburn's football, nah.
But their football team, right? They're, when
Right.
Auburn's football team is good, but their basketball team.
I was just thinking Texas because they
Texas,
made
yeah.
the turn. They at least made the
Yeah.
tournament, won a game in the tournament,
Yeah.
and they were in the playoff football
Yeah.
playoff.
Marquette.
Marquette football, yeah,
Okay,
fantastic.
So good, nobody knows about them.
yeah.
Yeah, no Big East for the most part. No Big East teams can be on this
Yeah.
list. So.
Right.
Villanova's got a football team. I think they play
Yeah.
D3 or whatever. But
Yeah,
They played Butler
yeah.
as well.
Dayton.
The 1AA.
I'm trying to think, are there any West Coast teams that? I mean,
Oregon, but
yeah, I mean,
Washington.
Yeah, Oregon.
Oregon. I think
Oregon
you could-
won a couple games,
Yeah.
didn't they, in the tournament this year?
Yeah, I
think
think so.
at least one.
I know they won one.
Yeah, Oregon would be on there. USC was terrible basketball until they had all these
Right.
the recruits.
Yeah,
Bronny.
UCLA was terrible in football.
right.
They were
weren't
ter- they
very
were
good
terrible in basketball.
either. Yeah.
Yeah. What about? Well, no, Oregon State. that's
Oregon
on the
State. I mean,
female
they had a
side.
decent football team this year. I don't. think their
the
basketball
female
team was anything.
Basketball team went.
Washington State
yeah.
basketball was decent. They made
Yeah.
the tournament and
Yeah.
won a game.
Yeah. But their football team wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to
Great.
think like mid-major. I mean, you could say Houston's football team's wasn't that great.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm trying to think that route. Like Nevada. I don't know what their football team was. I mean,
Oklahoma's basketball team was okay.
they didn't make the tournament though. So.
Yeah, and they were just out. They were one of
Yeah.
those that just didn't make
Yeah.
on the bubble week teams.
I mean,
Uh,
I guess you could throw BYU in there. I mean, their football team was solid. They weren't great, but
right. For the first year in the Big 12. Yeah. Not too
Yeah.
bad.
TCU was pretty good.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Baylor football, not great.
yeah,
Yeah, not this year.
not this year. Yeah,
They
Yeah, I
would
mean,
have.
if you
Over the last
took-
10 years, yeah.
yeah. If you looked at it over the last 10 years, there'd be a lot more options, team wise. So
All right. Good one.
There you go.
All right. Next week, we're going to bring back a couple of old favorites. We're going to play some games here, quiz the guys, and challenge each other and see who can come up with the most correct answers on things. So you want to tune in on YouTube and all your podcasting platforms and find it and be episode 83. It'd be fun to do. So, before we get out of here, I want to say everybody have a wonderful week. Stay dry, and let's hope the sun comes back out here soon. So for Sam and Charlie, I'm Dave. Everybody have a great week. Take care.
see you.
See you later.